I stated a while ago that I was concerned about State of Decay 3. Um, just partially, right? Nothing. I wasn't, you know, so concerned that, like, guys, I mean, I think it's any day now that State of Decay 3 is going to get, canceled or whatever. Because we did see, a second trailer back in 2024 at the Xbox Game Showcase. Where I got concerned was just the amount of time it's taking for us to get from one trailer to another trailer for State of Decay 3. I mean, it took 4 years, 2020 to 2024. And with these latest mass layoffs and game cancellations, it definitely concerns me. But at the same time, the good news is that State of Decay 3 did not get canceled. So we're still on track here, but I'm wondering if there's going to be more layoffs to come in the future. Let's talk about it, guys. So in an article coming to us from Eddie Makic of GameSpot, we're going to talk about all the layoffs that happened, the game cancellations, guys, and we're going to break it down and what this could mean for State of Decay 3 and some of these other horror games coming out of Xbox. So Microsoft announced mass layoffs on July 2nd, impacting many areas of the company's sprawling business, including Xbox. Overall, Microsoft is said to be cutting 4% of its staff worldwide, affecting about 9,000 people. Microsoft is an enormous company that employs more than 200,000 people globally. The exact number of cuts at Xbox is unknown, but Microsoft has confirmed layoffs at multiple studios, game cancellations, and entire studio closures. So here's what Phil Spencer said. Microsoft Gaming CEO Phil Spencer sent a memo to staff today addressing the cuts, claiming the job losses were necessary to allow for the enduring success of Xbox. We will end or decrease work in certain areas of the business and follow Microsoft's lead in removing layers of management to increase agility and effectiveness. Spencer also addressed the fact that cutbacks are coming at a time when business is booming for Xbox. I recognize that these changes come at a time when we have more players, games, and gaming hours than ever before. Our platform, hardware, and game roadmap have never looked stronger, he said. The success of Xbox today is the result of tough decisions Microsoft made previously. We must, and this is pretty important, this quote here is important, guys. We must make choices now for continued success in future years. And a key part of that strategy is the discipline to prioritize the strongest opportunities, he added. We will protect what is thriving and concentrate effort on areas with the greatest potential while delivering on the expectations the company has for our business. This focused approach means we can deliver exceptional games and experience for players for generations to come. Okay, we're going to go over the games and that got canceled, as well as the studios that we've seen so far that have had layoffs. I'm going to address the layoffs first and kind of what Phil Spencer's saying here. In a way, guys, this is actually really good for Xbox. I mean, it sucks that people lost their jobs. Obviously, it's terrible. But here's the thing. I think that Xbox has taken on more than they can chew when it comes to how many studios they have and all the games they've greenlit. Think about it. I mean, they're taking on so much stuff, and for whatever reason, all these games that they possess, all these IPs, it's taking with more people than ever that they have helping out with these different titles. We saw the number here, guys. Microsoft, they employ 200,000 people globally. Okay, so Microsoft as a whole is huge. Xbox employs a lot of people as well. The problem, though, is just because you have more people doesn't mean that these games are coming out sooner. Now, we all know that it's very hard to make a video game. Guys, I've done extensive research on game development. I have never made a video game, though, but From the research I've done, to make an indie game, it is very hard. It's very difficult to make any video game, but an indie game is very difficult. To make a AAA title is incredibly difficult because you're constantly showing the higher ups at whatever company that is, and you have to get consistent approvals, and those things can take layers upon layers of time. So here's the problem. The problem is that you have all these people working on these games, but it's not efficient. It's not working. You look at games like State of Decay 3 was announced in 2020. 4 years have gone by and we finally got another trailer. And it wasn't a release date trailer. It showed us what looked to be a little bit of some gameplay, but it's been 4 years. And obviously we haven't heard anything since then. So what's going on? And then on top of that, you might have certain studios have more people than others, right? State of Decay 3 with Undead Labs, it feels like maybe they have a smaller team over there that we don't know about. And that's why they had to pull the coalition in, the folks making Gears of War. And Obsidian had to come over and help Undead Labs as well. Maybe they're just understaffed with Undead Labs, but then a bunch of these other studios are overstaffed. And so I think Xbox is looking at how can we become more efficient? Because when you think about it, they should be releasing a ton of games every year, but they're not. They've got so much going on that they're not efficient. It's like they're a master of none right now. They've got their hands in so many different things. I will argue, guys, that, like, for example, Call of Duty Black Ops 7, which is really like the first title that Xbox gets to see all the way through. Like Black Ops 6, obviously they purchased Activision Blizzard and all of that. But, Black Ops 6 was probably already being worked on before they even took over Activision Blizzard. And so this is the first game, Black Ops 7, where it's like Xbox has got their fingerprints all over it. Where we're about to talk about a number of these Call of Duty developers or teams that are working on COD. And I'm going to tell you, they got a lot of layoffs there at a number of these companies that are working on one of the biggest games of all time, that being Call of Duty. Why are they having layoffs for a game as large as Call of Duty? Well, I stated this, guys, during the Xbox Game Showcase, that trailer for Black Ops 7, it was just a teaser trailer, but I believe it was the worst teaser trailer that Call of Duty has ever produced, and I don't think it's even close. I'm not saying that means that the game is going to be bad, but I'm just telling you, they're going in the wrong direction. Like, in terms of just putting a promo, a trailer together, it's like already feeling off. Now, yes, there are some games, guys, that Microsoft, or I should say Xbox, seems to be crushing. But why is it taking so long for these games to come out? The problem is you have all these higher ups of leadership at Xbox, and these are the people that State of Decay or Undead Labs, they send, say, a level to. They're like, hey, this is concept art. This is what, where the direction we're going. And then one person in leadership has to pass it to another person, to another person. And it's like this, it just takes forever. And so what Phil Spencer's doing and what Xbox is doing is they're trimming the leadership roles within Xbox, as well as with these studios, which is a good thing, because now you're going to have less layers to get through. You're going to have less people that you have to, get approvals from for different things, right? There's too many people. It's like there's too many cooks in the kitchen here with certain studios. And then other studios like Undead Labs, it sounds like they don't have enough people, with State of Decay 3. So it's a very interesting thing. But I think in a number of ways, this is a good thing for Xbox because now they can kind of get a handle once again on producing very high quality games, but getting them churned out a lot quicker, where there's not this long pipeline of approvals that need to happen in order for these games to get made. So let's talk about these games that had massive layoffs or studios and what games got canceled. We'll start with Raven Software, guys. Raven Software, an esteemed Call of Duty development studio, is said to have been affected by the cuts. The studio co-developed 2024's Black Ops 6 and returns to co-developer 2025's Black Ops 7. Raven is also known for its work on Call of Duty Warzone. The exact number or nature of the cuts at Raven is unknown. And once again, guys, like, I don't think that it is necessarily a bad thing that they are trying to be more efficient, right? Getting rid of like some of these people in these higher up leadership positions. When you think about it, guys, who knows how many of the higher ups at Xbox have different, they have different agendas and they're not on the same page with one another. And so then it's, these games are going through these development hell cycles. Think about Fable, think about Elder Scrolls 6, think about State of Decay 3. I mean, guys, the amount of games, if it was just one game, it was just like one-off title that we were seeing development hell cycles with, creative differences with, multiple studios having to come in and help. If that was like one game, okay, that's not really a problem. But this is a systemic problem, it's felt like, within Xbox, where you have all these awesome ideas, but you can't execute them in a timely manner, and you're spending tens of, millions of dollars to get these games produced. And by the time that these development cycles are done, I mean, when they release to the world, like on Xbox Game Pass day one, it takes you way longer to make that money back. And then it hurts Xbox's bottom line and things of that nature. So like I said, I think that this is a good thing for Xbox. Let's talk about Turn 10 Studios. Forza Motorsport developer Turn 10 Studios was reportedly hit significantly by the Xbox cuts. A report said that, okay, this is crazy. A report said nearly 50% of staff were let go. Though it's not clear how many people this amounts to, the studio's last release was 2023's Forza Motorsport for PC and Xbox Series X and S. Look, I've never been a massive Forza Motorsport fan. I've always heard that it was a massive franchise, though, for Xbox. They reportedly cut 50% of people working on Forza. What that tells me, guys, is there's way too many people working on Forza. That's like maybe the first thing. Second thing would be Forza is not making as much money as we all kind of thought it was maybe making, which we can certainly look at the numbers, guys. I'm sure Forza does pretty good numbers, but either they've got a lot of people there. Forza Motorsport for PC and Xbox Series X and S, the 2023 version, did not sell as well. Or once again, they've got a bunch of like leadership positions over at Turn 10 Studios, and it was just taking too long to get things, moving over there. It's really hard to say, but that is a massive, staggering number, dude. 50% of their staff. It's crazy. Let's move on to the next one. Rare and Everwild. All right, guys. So British developer Rare was affected by the layoffs too, with the studio's upcoming game Everwild canceled. The game was announced in 2019 and had been in development for reportedly 10 years before this decision came down. Anonymous developers speaking to VGC said that Rare couldn't find the right direction for this project even after it was rebooted. So look, guys, think of it like this. Xbox is paying these studios to make these games. They were paying Rare salaries, like a number of of Rare hires a team, right? Xbox is giving them money to pay people salaries, hourly pay, whatever, right? To make these games. So say you got hired by Rare on Everwild day one, you had a job for 10 years and the game still never came out. So what I'm saying is Xbox is thinking to themselves, dude, you've had 10 years to get this game done and it's not done yet. So they can the project. What I think Xbox is doing though now is they're realizing, okay, we're just going to kill these projects because they're in development hell. They're not going anywhere slowly, right? And so I think it's actually people don't realize, you don't really think about it from, a lot of people attack Xbox for decisions like this, but you have to remember that this game's been in development for 10 years. So they've been paying Rare to get this game going, and all that money just down the drain for 10 years, a decade. So obviously they're going to cut their losses. They're like, you know what, Everwild, this isn't going anywhere. Let's cut it. Rare, 50 or however many people they decided to cut, you're moving on to something else, or you're going to come over here and you're going to help out with this studio team, this development team work on, say, we're going to move you to Gears to help you or help the coalition or whatever. It could be a number of things. You guys are going to go work on Elder Scrolls 6 because it's taken Bethesda so long to get their act together. So what I'm saying is it's staggering when you think of this game's been in development for 10 years, never came out. And according to VGC, they couldn't find the right direction in 10 years. It's wild. So then we move on to a new MMO. There was a new MMO RPG from the Elder Scrolls Online developer ZeniMax Online Studios, reportedly codenamed Blackbird, was said to be canceled. It had reportedly been in development in some form since 2018. Longtime exec Mac Furr is also leaving the company. Once again, it's a game that was in development since 2018. And more than likely, guys, there's a reason for it. Rare couldn't find the creative footing, right, for Everwild. This might have just taken a while for them to really figure out what do we want to do here, or maybe there were creative differences within the studio. They were getting pushback from the higher ups, because obviously Elder Scrolls is a massive franchise and, it's got to go through some levels there to get it right. They want it to be perfect, but yeah, it's not surprising. I think Xbox wants to start getting to a point of efficiency where they are pumping out these games a lot quicker. Because even with a smaller team, you can sometimes be way more efficient. So think about that as well. And then we get to Perfect Dark. One of Microsoft's newest studios, The Initiative, is closing up shop, and its first game, a new Perfect Dark, has been canceled. A report from May 2024 said the new Perfect Dark game was in rough shape. Look, from what I had seen of Perfect Dark, I thought it looked fine. It didn't look like the greatest thing ever, but I thought it looked okay. But obviously there were problems. And once again, Xbox is looking at it like, okay, if we release this game in this current shape, it's going to bomb. It's not going to do well. It's not going to sell well. We're going to lose money on it. So they're cutting their losses now. It's kind of like, think of, a really good example of this, guys. This is kind of a movie reference. DC and Warner Brothers, they decided to cancel, what was it? Batgirl. They had made a Batgirl movie. It was done. The movie was filmed, edited, the whole nine. And when there was new management that came in with the DC studios, They said, yeah, we're not releasing that in theaters. Yeah, it's not going to streaming. We're cutting it. It's not happening. It's not coming. It's never releasing. It's not going anywhere. We don't want it to be a part of the DC cinematic universe or whatever. And so they scrapped it. They completely scrapped Batgirl when it was done. So what I'm saying is I'm comparing what's going on here with Xbox to that. Xbox looked at Perfect Dark and they say, yeah, dude, there's some things that look okay, but it looks like it's in pretty rough shape. And I think we're just going to cut our losses here. They closed down the initiative, which it's really, like I said, guys, once again, it's really unfortunate. I would have loved a Perfect Dark, like a really solid Perfect Dark title. But if it's not, if they don't feel like it's going to do well, or it's going to take them another 5-10 years for it to release, and then it's going to come out and it's going to bomb, like it's not going to do well, like nobody plays it. That's what they're thinking about, obviously. Once again, here we go. Another Call of Duty studio. Longtime Call of Duty co-developer High Noon Studios has been affected by the Xbox cuts too, according to Charlie Intel. The studio has for years supported Call of Duty Warzone and other Call of Duty projects. I think I've said this for a while, guys. I think there's too many cooks in the kitchen with Call of Duty. I really do. You know, the things that need to be addressed are not addressed because it has to go through too many layers. And that's why Phil Spencer, they're cutting a lot of these leadership roles, leadership positions, because it needs to be more efficient. If I'm a developer and I'm working for Sledgehammer Games, for example, and we put together this anti-cheat and there are, 10,000 accounts that are currently hacking in Call of Duty, I need the permission to, ban these accounts right now. I can't wait 3, 4, 5 months for you guys, that being the leadership positions at Xbox, to make a decision. Like, it needs to happen right now. So getting rid of those leadership positions or a lot of those executive roles and stuff, whether it's at, the higher ups of the game development studios or Xbox itself, that's what I think Xbox is looking at. They want to cut a lot of these leadership positions so that things can become more efficient and things can start moving quicker. Because here we go with Sledgehammer Games. Sledgehammer, another Call of Duty co-developer, Sledgehammer Games has faced layoffs as part of the wider cuts at Microsoft. That's according to Charlie Intel in Insider Gaming. And then we got Blizzard and Warcraft Rumble. Blizzard has announced that Warcraft Rumble support will not continue in its current form. While systemic events and bug fixes will still be made, no new content will be added. Aftermath reports that some Blizzard employees will shift to different roles while others will be let go. An exact figure has not been confirmed, but it's said to be as many as 100 people. So here's what I think about that. I think that needs to be something that's really looked at very closely from Xbox. Is I don't think that you just fire all of these people and you're getting rid of good people as well as bad people. Like, maybe there's people that are in the workplace that are toxic, in the environment. Whereas you have other people that are grinders, that are really good, very creative, bright-minded, has really good ideas and things of that nature, works very hard. Maybe those types of people, you move into a different position or you move them into a different studio working on a different project and stuff. So that'll be really interesting how that all shakes up in the future. And then we got Halo Studios. The wide-ranging Xbox layoffs this week also affected Halo Studios, the development team formerly known as 343 Industries that is working on multiple upcoming Halo titles. Halo's a massive game. Call of Duty is massive. And so it's just, it only makes sense that you're going to be getting layoffs at these big developers. And then last but not least, guys, Romero Games. The studio headed by John and Brenda Romero has announced that an unspecified publisher has canceled funding for its new game, and it's believed to be Microsoft. In a post, Brenda Romero said, "Our publisher has canceled funding for our game, along with several other unannounced projects at other studios," she added. "This was a strategic decision made at a high level within the publisher. well above our visibility or control. The wording and the timing suggests that Microsoft was the publisher for this new game, given Microsoft just confirmed it had canceled multiple unannounced projects or games. Romero Games said years ago when its new FPS was announced that it was working with a major publisher and Microsoft would fit that bill. An affected staffer at Romero Games said outright on social media that unfortunately, due to the recent Xbox layoffs, I've lost my position at Romero Games. Look, guys, it sucks that people are losing their jobs, right? If we're looking at like silver linings here, we saw nothing about State of Decay 3. Or I should say Undead Labs. Nothing about Undead Labs. Now, I'm sure we're going to be hearing, some information that there were some layoffs at Undead Labs, potentially. Gears of War, the Coalition. Didn't hear anything there. Didn't hear anything with Fable. I thought that Fable would maybe be one of these games that got canceled, honestly. But it ended up being Perfect Dark. The one that makes the most sense to me that got canceled is Everwild, because this game was in development for 10 years. It makes no sense for a company like Xbox to continue paying Rare to make this game, and it's been 10 years. Like, where's the game, guys? Like, if I'm Xbox, I've been investing in this for 10 years. Where is it? Well, we can't find the right direction. Okay, well, we're going to cancel that, and you're going to have to let go of part of your workforce. And the guys who are really good, the girls who are really good, let's move them to another project. Like, I think this is good for Xbox. I really do. I think this is going to make them more efficient with getting approvals to all those things, guys. I really believe that this is going to help Xbox massively with getting approvals on very low level things, like very base level things, like getting some accounts banned that need to be banned for cheating in Call of Duty, to very higher up ordeals like, gameplay mechanics and things of that nature within some of these games, and get the approvals a lot quicker. If it doesn't have to go through so many layers, and all those layers it's going through, they all have their own personal agendas and blah, blah, blah. Dude, I'm telling you, this is going to be a lot better for Xbox moving forward. But let me know, guys, what do you think about what happened with Xbox here? The shakedown that's happening from all the people that are getting let go to, all of the games that are getting canceled. Do you guys think there's going to be more that are getting canceled, more layoffs to come in the future? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below, and let us know your thoughts.